What? I got 3 weeks to live? Are you shitting me?
4 on the outside. I'm sorry.
If you knew you had a terminal illness, what would you do? This woman gave the perfect answer. She went to her boss's office, took off her high heels, and directly smashed her boss's phone. Her boss was shocked and said he would deduct her salary, but the woman said this sentence.
You know what? I quit.
She was originally just an ordinary mall salesperson. She lived a frugal life on weekdays and always used coupons when buying things. Unexpectedly, after saving and being frugal all her life, the most tragic thing happened. One day, she suddenly fainted during work. After the doctor examined her, he told her that she had Lang syndrome. Simply put, it was a terminal illness, and she only had about 4 weeks to live. To prevent misdiagnosis, the doctor also checked again, and the result was still the same. Joya was completely devastated. She flipped through her dream book. The delicious food she liked hadn't been eaten, and the places she liked to go hadn't been visited either. She had always had a crush on her colleague Sean, but she never dared to express it. She always thought there would be plenty of time in the future, but unexpectedly, there would be no more opportunities. She was very regretful now. This dream book was just empty talk. Joya threw the book into the trash can and decided to live the life she wanted in the last days of her life. The first thing she did was fire her boss, and then she went to the bank, withdrew all her savings and pension, and sold all her assets. She wanted to fulfill her wishes one by one before she died and start the perfect vacation at the end of her life. She got on a plane to Europe, but because she bought an economy class ticket, the fat man in the front seat always crowded her. If it was Joya in the past, she would choose to endure silently, but now she no longer bears it.
This greedy airline put all these seats so close together just so they can make more money.
Makes sense.
All right? Now, I'm not flying all the way to Prague with some stranger in my lap.
The flight attendant heard this sentence and taunted that the first-class cabin was empty. You go and sit in the first-class cabin. Joya laughed.
How much is it?
Beg your pardon?
How much for the damn cocoon?
She directly added money to upgrade to the first class, and it was really spacious here in the first-class cabin. Not only was there roasted chicken to serve, but also a flight attendant poured her wine. Joya took a nice sip. Is this the feeling of a rich person? At the airport, the number of people queuing for a taxi had reached the 83rd. Joya directly rented a helicopter. Sitting in the helicopter and looking at the beautiful scenery of the city, Joya couldn't be more excited in her heart. The helicopter landed at the 5-star hotel she had dreamed of. The waiters and guests on the ground were all astonished to see someone coming by helicopter. You know, the last person with such a big show was a British noble. Everyone began to guess what kind of identity this woman was. Joya arrived early because she rented a plane. The front desk told her that the room she booked hadn't been cleaned yet. Now there was only a presidential suite, which cost more than $3,000 a night. Joya said to stay in this room. The waiter asked incredulously, "Are you sure?"
Did you see me play?
The waiter took her upstairs. Joya was the first time to be a rich person, and she didn't know how much tip to give. She directly gave a stack of bills. This frightened the waiter. He didn't know what kind of origin this woman had, and only dared to take one. Joya stood in front of the window and looked at the beautiful scenery outside, and couldn't help but sigh.
What world was I living in?
Joya decided to dress up and live like a rich person. The way the rich person takes care of themselves is so strange. They use small tweezers to pluck hairs. They use electric shock rods for skin care. They use branches to beat themselves wildly on their bodies. Finally, they wrap themselves all over with mud and wrap themselves up like a mummy.
I gotta use the bathroom.
After some care, Jojo looks radiant. Then she goes to a clothing store and tries on her favorite clothes one by one. She wears a limited edition red dress and walks into a 5-star restaurant. This immediately attracts the attention of the congressman in the private room.
Hello, sister.
This table is full of upper-class people. They have many problems with ordering food. Some don't want cream. Some don't want carbohydrates. The Michelin-starred chef in the kitchen is furious after seeing this stuff. If you don't want this and that, what kind of gourmet food are you eating? But Jojo is completely opposite. She has no taboos and orders all the chef's signature dishes. The chef thinks, this is a friend who loves gourmet food. Soon, one delicious dish after another is served on the table, and the head chef also comes to greet in person. In a high-end restaurant, being served by the head chef is a symbol of status. All the senior officials and wealthy businessmen guess what the origin of the woman is. Some say she is very rich, and some say she is a senior official, and the congressman looks at Jojo with even higher regard. After the meal, Jojo is soaking in the hot spring alone, and the congressman quietly comes in and takes the initiative to strike up a conversation. Jojo very candidly says that she is indeed just an ordinary person, but the congressman thinks she is being humble or inconvenient to reveal her identity. And this scene is just seen by a wealthy businessman passing by. He is even more certain that this woman is definitely extraordinary. The wealthy businessman is a retail tycoon in the United States and the richest person in the hotel. He wanted to invite the congressman to dinner to talk about cooperation. and asked the head chef to come and receive to support his face. But unexpectedly, Jojo's appearance has stolen his limelight. The wealthy businessman thinks that this must be someone sent by the opponent to cause trouble, and immediately looks at Jojo very unpleasantly. The wealthy businessman doesn't know that Jojo also hates him. It turns out that Jojo's former boss is a fanatic fan of the wealthy businessman and keeps talking about his success theory, which makes Jojo extremely annoyed. However, these two people happen to meet in the elevator. Jojo couldn't help but taunt the wealthy businessman, which made him very angry. The next day, Jojo goes skiing, and the wealthy businessman just happens to stop to curry favor with the congressman just as Jojo quickly slides past in front of them. The wealthy businessman thinks that this woman is stealing his limelight again, and then immediately chases after her to compete with Jojo. But he doesn't know that Jojo has just learned to ski and can't break it all. Jojo jumps onto his ski board, and when they are about to fall, Jojo jumps down, but the wealthy businessman falls hard. He is not convinced and chases after her again, but doesn't notice that he is about to enter the forest ahead. Jojo easily crosses the obstacle. Finally, she stops steadily. The wealthy businessman is very miserable. That night, when having dinner, Jojo is surrounded by the upper-class people, and everyone is queuing up to invite her to dinner. The waiter comes up and tells her that the head chef has prepared dinner specially for her. Jojo generously invites several people to have dinner together, leaving the wealthy businessman sitting awkwardly in his original position. Next, the wealthy people invite Jojo to the casino to play. Jojo bets all her bets. Previously, she was restrained, but now she wants to enjoy the game wholeheartedly. But unexpectedly, she has very good luck and can win every time. In the end, when it is settled, she actually earns millions of dollars. The wealthy businessman is not convinced in his heart and decides to play something bigger with her. In this way, a skydiving competition officially begins. The two stand on a dam thousands of meters high and have to jump directly without any protection. Looking down from this height, everyone will feel scared. However, the coach is still saying, "What are you afraid of? It's not dangerous at all." Only a few people have died. Hearing his words, the wealthy businessman is even more scared. Jojo doesn't care. Anyway, she is almost dead. She spreads her arms and jumps down, feeling the thrill of weightlessness, and then opens the parachute and finally lands safely. And next, it's the wealthy businessman's turn. He clings to the railing and doesn't dare to jump, and finally simply gives up. Originally, he wanted to see Jojo's joke, but it turns out that it is himself who makes a fool of himself. A wealthy businessman felt extremely embarrassed. He secretly bribed the butler of the hotel to find out Joa's true identity. The butler slipped into Joa's room and found her former work ID. The butler never expected that this super wealthy person who was sought after by everyone was just an ordinary salesperson. She was thinking about how to expose Joa's deception when she saw Joa's suicide note. After learning that Joa's life was not long, the butler softened. When Joa returned to the room, the butler's attitude completely changed. He even hugged Joa tightly and advised her to spend the remaining time with the person she loved. Joa thought the same way. She really missed Sean and wanted to see him again. In fact, at this moment, Sean was sitting on a plane coming to find Joa. It turned out that Sean had also had a secret crush on Joa. After discovering Joa's resignation, Sean also immediately resigned and found the doctor to ask about the condition. He found the Book of Hope at Joa's home and followed Joa's footsteps to Europe. However, there was an avalanche on the way, and his taxi couldn't move forward. Only separated by a wall of snow, the lovers could only look at each other from afar. Sean got out of the car and walked, while Joa, who was unaware, was still having dinner at the hotel. The wealthy businessman sitting at the same table was now very proud because she had learned Joa's true identity through other channels. At the banquet, the wealthy businessman stood up and exposed Joa's true identity to everyone, saying that how could a salesperson like her be worthy of being with us and pretending to be rich. She thought she could humiliate her severely, but Joa didn't get angry. She told everyone that she had never intended to deceive anyone. The reason why she came here was that her life was coming to an end. She just wanted to spend all her savings and leave this world without any regrets.
Don't feel sorry for me, baby. Never in my life did I think I would end up in such a beautiful place, doing so many incredible things.
After saying these words, Joa turned and left. But the friends of the wealthy businessman felt disgusted with his behavior and left him one by one. The wealthy businessman drank alone in a daze. He drank and climbed onto the rooftop. He had been a winner in life all his life, and this was the first time he had lost so completely, and even to a salesperson. Joa also climbed onto the edge of the eaves. She said to the wealthy businessman, "Someone like you who has money and time has plenty of opportunities to change," while she just wanted to live well, get married and have children, and then open a small restaurant. But even this ordinary dream couldn't be realized. In comparison, you are so lucky, and what else are you dissatisfied with? With the comfort of Joa, the wealthy businessman finally let go. The wealthy businessman asked her if she still had any regrets. Joa thought for a moment. Her only regret now was that she hadn't confessed to the person she liked. And at this moment, a voice came from downstairs.
It's starting to happen.
What?
I mean, I can hear him calling my name right now.
Well, someone actually did call your name.
Georgia!
that?
Sean, what are you doing here?
Joel was astonished and asked Sean how he could run here. Sean gave the answer.
It doesn't even matter what I thought. I have feelings for you. Georgia Bird, I want to be with you. Whether it's for 5 minutes here on this ledge, or 50 years.
Joel was both happy and sad. She scolded the heavens, why did she get all this when she was about to die? At this moment, the hotel butler also climbed out of the window. He brought a fax from the hospital. It turned out that the hospital machine had made a mistake, and the previous terminal illness was a misdiagnosis. Joel was very excited and kissed Sean. In the end, Joa finally realized her dream and opened a restaurant, which was very prosperous. She lived the life she yearned for.